Well, I mean, WCW did go out of business for a reason, guys. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and so what does that tell us? Is that
there was a time, guys, when you could take ideas that had been done before and revamp them a little bit and make them work again. But you can't do that no more because now with the internet and YouTube, it's so easy for somebody to pull up a video and say, oh, look, here's the way they done it the last time.
right?
That's another problem with this, but it's another reason why we have to start with indie wrestling. We have to save indie wrestling from the morons because there's no original ideas anymore. People just need to put a little effort. Wrestling promoters nowadays, they're just so. You know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna say it. Wrestling promoters nowadays are so darn lazy that I'm trying to keep my language down, guys. I know it drives Scott Eiland crazy, but they're so lazy that they don't even make an effort anymore. They don't even try to be original or try to at least, somebody say, oh, well, somebody say, hey, man, I seen they done this a while back at another show. Let's do it here. There's a chance that other show just might be on the freaking internet, morons.
Well,
put out a freaking effort,
Yep.
Just put out effort. If you're going to be a promoter, do the work. Put out an effort to try to at least be original or at least try to do something that entertains your fans. And I'm not talking about going out there and doing 20-minute promos in the middle of the freaking ring, okay? That don't entertain the fans. Yeah, they like promos, but they don't like them to go on forever unless, you have something really good to say. Everybody thinks, well, John Cena comes out and does the first 20 minutes of Raw with a mic in his hand. Yeah, well, that's a little different because John Cena, he knows what to say. He knows how to keep, 20,000 fans in the palm of his hand, one way or the other. I'm telling you, the first thing you got to do is you got to save indie wrestling. You've got to join this. We've got to get this revolution. And the revolution is picking up speed. Slowly but surely, but it's like every other revolution that has ever started. It starts out small, it's underground, it's got to gain momentum. But this is what we got to do. First thing you've got to do this, is you've got to quit putting these teenagers, these kids who honestly, you want to make fans believe that these are warriors or combatants, but you put freaking kids in there that weigh 120 pounds who would fold in 10 seconds in a fight in a parking lot and would curl up in the fetal position under a Hyundai crying for their mama. But you expect these fans to believe that they get in this ring and they punch each other in the face and they throw around and drop kick and arm bar and do these high flips and they take it. Every bit of the pain and punishment, they take it like men. But if you raise your hand to when I'm in a dressing room, they'll crawl under the damn chair. You can't make people believe they're warriors if they look like kids. That's the first thing you got to do is you got to get rid of these teenagers. Everybody wants to train a freaking kid at 12 or 13 years old, and they want to stick them in the ring. I've seen this, and God bless them, I love my friends in Tennessee, but I've seen this in Tennessee where they literally put 12-year-old kids in there and they have matches before the show and call it their junior division. And these kids are throwing punches and drop kicks and suplexes, and these fans are sitting out there laughing at this, going, "Oh, that's cute!" And at the same time, they're tearing our business down from the foundations, and we're letting it happen because we just sit back and keep our mouths shut. But we have so many that type their crap. Oh, let me type this on Facebook. I'm disgruntled, and I'm going to say this on Facebook, and this is how I feel. but you don't really do anything about it, do you? You just sit there and you type your little words on Facebook and you try to sound like you're all mad and upset. Well, I'm doing different. I'm standing up for the business that we believe in. I'm standing up for what's right in this business. And I don't care who I piss off. But if you're not old enough to drink a freaking beer, then you should not be, or at least if you're not old enough to vote, for God's sake, you do not need to be in a wrestling ring because you're not a man yet. And that's the problem. We're losing the men in our business, and the fans don't want to see babies beating each other up. They don't want to see little kids pretending to be men. Bring back the men.
Well, how do we do that is the question. And, Tim, do you have any...
I'm just enjoying this. I can honestly say I'm enjoying it.
People pay $60 to see WrestleMania because they see men in there performing our business. They see men doing it. And when they go to these independent shows and they see 16-year-old kids who can't even hold their freaking pants up because they run out of holes in their belt loops because they have to tighten them so tight because their waists are so small that from where they haven't grown into being a man yet, the fans are not going to. Yeah, sure, the kid's girlfriend and his buddies are going to come and cheer. Yay, Johnny, you look so good in there in your little outfit. No, the wrestling fans want to see men that look like men beating the hell out of each other. And I'm not talking about a freaking 10-minute arm bar. I'm talking about pick up a goddamn chair and whack a crap out of somebody. Come on, man. When we in the 90s, we took the AIWF, and I was talking to somebody about this earlier. Seriously, a group had a show in Martinsville, Virginia last night and brought in old names. No, I'm not knocking on the old names, but they drew right around 300 people at a high school or middle school or something up in Martinsville. In the 90s, we took the AIWF and we put that many people in them same buildings with no names, just guys who got in there and beat the pure mortal crap out of each other, and the bloodlust fans loved it. And those fans are out there. I ain't saying that you got to bleed buckets of blood for every show. You just got to go out there and actually make the fans believe that you're doing something they cannot do.
Yep.
And that's what we've done. We're out there, and we threw each other through barbed wire, beat each other with chairs and sticks and everything else. But you know what? To those fans, that was men entertaining them by beating the crap out of each other. That was even the women. The women done it. You know, the women that come into the AIWF. My God, Change's old lady, Ronnie, we put her through tables more than once, and the crowd loved it.
Yep.
Brian Danzig's wife, Pagan, barbed wire, thumbtacks. She done it all because those two women were 10 times more of them than half these young wrestlers are that come in nowadays. There's no men left in this business. We need to start training men instead of training little boys.
So
I'm sorry, was I ranting?
No, it's okay. You're doing fine.
How they do it, Scott? I mean, even in North Carolina, Virginia, anywhere. The problem is that there's so many promoters right now that the worst wrestlers can find somewhere to work.
Yeah.
I don't care how bad you are. I don't care how much face paint you put on, how much you try to look like Satan, and how many chains you have draping off of your Hot Topic wrestling gear. That for some reason people have this weird this conception that Hot Topic sells wrestling gear. Don't know where they get that from, but they
don't.
They get this. There's a place for all of them to work, And the problem is that all of these promoters that are letting these guys work are also training these guys. And the problem is, if you're too stupid to be a promoter, you're too stupid to be a trainer. Here's what I think. Don't regulate the promotions. Don't regulate the promoters. Regulate the freaking trainers. If you want to train wrestlers, you have to be certified by the state. You have to meet a certain curriculum. You have to have been in the business for a certain amount of years. You have to follow certain guidelines to be a trainer. It's like, they just don't let any old guy who can turn a flip train gymnastics for the Olympics. You know what I'm saying? They don't just pull somebody off of a basketball court at the local recreation park and stick them in the NBA. Here, train. Well, they might for the Bobcats. I don't know, but but the thing about it is they don't do that. So why in the hell are they letting any jackleg with a ring train people in his backyard? Why do they do that? You want to fix this business? Start regulating the freaking trainers. You have to have a trainer's license. You have to I don't know, make them go through a course. Do you realize, Scott Eiland, that I am me personally, and I got freaking released from my duties as a trainer, but I am the only person in the problem, if not the entire world, at least in the entire state of North Carolina, that has a certification from a college to train professional wrestling.
Oh, really? I did not know
that. I have a certification from Gaston Community College in Dallas, North Carolina, for training professional wrestling. How many people out there can say that? And I'm the guy that got released. But now here's the thing. That's what they need. Regulate the trainers. Don't let Joe Moron out here train somebody just because he needs an extra guy on the show that night and his buddy happens to be sitting in the front row like, oh, Bill, I always want to be a wrestler. No, you regulate the trainers, and then you put an age limit on trainees. They cannot. My God, they won't let them. Okay, they won't let somebody go out here and drive a car till they've been properly trained and they have a license and they're a certain age. But they'll let any kid go out here with 15 minutes of training and from somebody who don't even know how to train, and they'll let him get in a wrestling ring and take somebody else's health and well-being in his hands. Trust me, an untrained wrestler is just as dangerous to somebody's health as an untrained driver. Because if you don't know how to body slam that person, you drop them on their head, bam, paralyzed, rest of their freaking life.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? Regulate the trainers, not the promoters.
It's interesting. I would say, this is going to get somebody hurt, but it's already happened time and time again.
Exactly. All the time you have wrestlers who want $75 or $100 to come to an area. They're basing their pay on how much gas they use, not how much drawing power they have. You have so many wrestlers that are pricing themselves, good wrestlers, that are wanting more money than they're worth to come to a new area, knowing that the promoter is not going to draw that many people off of them. If they would price themselves low and then build up to a better payday after they start bringing in more wrestlers from the fans, if they would quit overpricing themselves, then these promoters would not have to turn around and train these idiots who
promoters would be honest with their workers and be honest with their co-promoters. This business would be a lot better off. Just saying.
Well, and something else to add to that, Scott was like, well, I just wish everybody would work together and everybody would be able to communicate. The problem is that this business is so ego-driven. Yeah. It feeds guys' egos, and very few of them know how to keep their egos in check. And the problem is, now, let me tell you, I've been in this business. I started my training in this business in 1987. So you're looking at 25 years I've been in the business. 21 of those years with the AIWF. Do you have any idea how many people that I have seen come through the doors of the dressing room of the AIWF that after 15 plus years or more in this business, I have never, ever heard of them until they walked into the dressing room of the AIWF. Never. And then the AIWF builds them up right up here in Mount Airy. There's been so many of them that have walked through this door. Nobody knows who they are. You never heard nobody talk about them. They get up here, the AIWF promotes them, builds them, pushes them, and then their ego takes over, and they walk out of the AIWF and go, screw you. And then all of a sudden, they're everywhere. But they don't realize what made them that. And honestly, in their mind, there's so many people in their mind that thinks that they built their self up when freaking AIWF made them what they are.
Well, Justin Fleisch is another prime example.
Well, Justin Fleisch is another one that gives great respect. But there's so many of them out there, and I can rattle off a list of names from here to out of sight that they honestly believe that they made themselves what they are today, but they never put the time in to edit those videos and put it all over the internet that people clicked on and watched and learned who these people are. They think, oh, I'm just me. I'm a star because I'm me. No, you're not. You're a freaking star because somebody sat at a goddamn computer desk and put the damn time in to edit the videos and push your storyline and put your face in front of every wrestling fan that would click on the video that they edited for you. Don't get all full of your freaking self and suck your goddamn own crap up your nose until you believe that you're a superstar in your own mind. You're a superstar because somebody made you that way. Remember that. And I'm not talking just to the people in the AIWF. I'm talking to every wrestler in the freaking business. You didn't make your damn self if you didn't sit and put in the time to promote you. If you didn't put out the posters with your face on it, then you didn't build yourself. If you didn't come up with your storyline and you didn't go out there and do what you thought was best, you was doing what the promoter told you, and you didn't put in the time to promote yourself, then you didn't make yourself. Somebody else seen something in you and made you. Get off your damn high horse and thank your promoter every once in a while. At least the promoters who's got enough goddamn sense to do it. Most promoters nowadays don't think outside their own freaking parking lot. That's what's wrong with this business. That's why they wasn't big to begin with.
One better. They can't think past the main event of the show that they're on in some cases.
But how many promoters out there run the show just so they can be in the main event? Do you have any idea? Now, there's so many of them out there that all they care about is putting themselves in the main event. That's what their show's all about, them. Everybody else is just filler talent. I'd
like to hear it because I just saw the video, and frankly, I don't want to say appalled because I've seen worse out of you, but I'm surprised that you did that with a trainee. So go ahead and tell me what's going on.
You've also noticed how fast that video is skyrocketing on views, too.
Yes. We are all sharing it with everybody we know. We can't believe it.
Here's the thing. I done what I done to the kid because he's the epitome of everything that disgusts me in this business. He's a good kid, don't get me wrong. But is he ready for wrestling? I don't know. I'm trying to teach him. He may be. He may grow up to be the best wrestler in the world. I hope he makes $10 million someday in his life from Vince McMahon. I hope he does. I hope he gets those Vince McMahon checks. But right now, I'm trying to teach this kid what it's like to be in this business and not skate through it. You got to be able to take the pain. You got to be able to take somebody pulling out a kendo stick or a chair and beating your ass with it. You have to be able to take that. If you can't, the fans will never accept you. And the reason I turned on referee Darren the way I did, because a freaking referee trying to train wrestlers. Where were the rest of the trainers? Don't get me wrong. I can train, but I don't get in the ring and take bumps anymore. I've done my time. We're supposed to have trainers there to get in there and work with these kids. What do we have? A referee. And they're trying to teach a kid how to do hip tosses and arm drags and clotheslines.